Time to cut off your head.
Same.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Children of Rath, as apparently the players are planning my demise even now as I speak.
Putting my own demise.
Would it be regicide or deicide?
Both.
Alright.
You're a king?
I am
Well,
your
any
king.
sort of royalty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry,
I have Emperor in my title. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, sir. I never pledged fealty to you.
I don't. I'm an anarchist.
Vote for you?
Probably.
By the way, eventually we'll play D&D here.
No.
Yeah, maybe.
It probably happens. And of course, if you're unfamiliar with us and new joining us, this is a D&D game set in the Magic the Gathering world of Dominaria. Our amazing cast of characters here has gone on many an adventure, and they currently are in Llanowar, where some crazy shit happened last week. That wasn't important at all.
It was very important to me.
No, it was very important to Mads.
Mm-hmm. It was important to your characters, not to the story. That's how we put it. Stuff happened.
Oh, it wasn't that important to me. I just got drunk and shape changed a bunch and tried to cuddle with Max.
Yeah.
Wyntris was lost on the road of life the entire game.
Mm-hmm. That's normal. That's a Tuesday for Wyntris. But anyway, we'll dive into it with these characters throwing out some information about what's going on with their characters. We'll of course start with Wyntris, who's on the road of life. How's Wyntris doing?
She's off the road of life. She's now journeying to death. She's back home. She's found everything she needed, and now she's back.
That's good.
You're not home?
How about Claude?
Claude enjoyed being drunk for the first time in a very long time.
Home's where the heart is, okay, Claude?
Home
So
is where
home's in your
horrible
chest?
amounts of inebriation is?
Wait, that means Max doesn't have a home.
Speaking of
I don't have a
Max,
chest. Come on.
No, but home is where the heart is. You don't have a heart.
Yeah, that's true.
that's why you have to give him one. By tearing it still beating out of your enemy's chests.
Oh
No.
no.
That's not how the
No.
Wizard of Oz went.
Yeah.
We will
What Wizard
have.
of Oz are you talking about?
It was Return to Oz, actually.
Golly ma! Golly ma!
I mean, we did have a witch who stole a bunch of women's heads and cut them off, so...
Mm-hmm.
No, we'll have Kaz make him a heart.
We could.
Kaz, we're having you make him a heart.
Alright.
Okay. Speaking of Maxwell, were we on Maxwell? No, we weren't. Now we are.
You're on me.
Mm-hmm. Well, you might
I
be.
think we need to skip him for a second. He's giving a 1 second.
Okay, then we'll go to Kaz.
Kaz is very hungover.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, buddy?
Oof. We had a rough night. He's also a little disappointed that he didn't get any, and a little jealous that apparently Carrion got a lot.
But she doesn't remember it.
Oh.
Do I need to, though?
It
can
doesn't
explain.
count if you don't remember it.
Well, back to Maxwell since he's popped back in.
Maxwell's doing good. He feels really bad that he kind of denied Kazran his happiness, but he's going to try to make it up to him in the future. So.
Oh, hey, you also pushed Carrie off a cliff.
Okay, well, we don't talk about that one, alright?
No. He poked her off a cliff and made her laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, it looks like Mads is frozen.
Yeah, she's frozen in a very laughing position.
It's the hideous laughter, no. It's too
She's
meta.
gone. She's forever perished. Oh no, our demon lady of the night.
Try
I
Wait,
didn't
she's
get
a,
maybe a little bit of switching where the server is will help. But now she's just non-existent.
Yeah, she's dead.
And
I
muted.
missed her already.
Mm-hmm. Discord issues. 3 seconds in. Yay!
Fun.
We love Discord.
It's okay. This is what happens when Maxwell pushes Carrion off the cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about. He was really sorry about it.
I mean, you weren't very sorry about almost letting her get kidnapped. So.
He said sorry about that.
About like 2-3 months later.
Okay, but the important thing is that he recognizes that he messed up, you know? Some people go a whole lifetime without ever saying
I
sorry.
think I broke my toe.
Oh.
How many lifetimes has it been since you said sorry to someone before, Matt?
Well, I guess I don't know the lore of, like, who I've wronged prior to her.
Me, at one point, apparently, because we stopped hanging out for a while.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
Unless
Well, we never
it
delved
was
into the
Claude who
reasoning
fucked
why.
up. Unless it was
No.
Claude who fucked up.
That's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Claude turned into Maxwell.
We don't know why the two of you
I feel
separated
like
for a
Maxwell's
while.
pretty forgiving, so...
But you did find each other again and like, hang
Yeah.
out again. So, I mean, like...
I think we just got tired of each other for a while.
It's a broship, okay? And these two guys, they're bros.
I mean, like...
Yeah,
We
man.
spent
We
a
got
few hundred
romance
years
going.
together. I think we just decided, hey, we need some time apart.
Maybe it was, like, information-based.
A
We were seeking
successful
something.
marriage has to have that phase where, being farther apart makes a heart grow fonder. And I'm sure your hearts are, I mean, just your heart, because Max doesn't have one. Your heart
I don't know if I really have one either.
No, you have a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But my true form's just met a gooey ball.
Yeah, but every time you change into a form, you do technically have a heart. It's just, you know...
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
Or for
I
sure.
guess.
What the hell's Mads saying? Mads is saying something.
Her
Yeah.
internet went out. She's gonna try restarting her modem. If it doesn't work, she'll head upstairs and jump on her laptop.
Okay. Cool.
I guess while wearing like the mask, Maxwell has a heart. Then it's an illusory heart.
I thought it was just skin deep.
No, because he can drink and it'll stay in. Remember?
Yeah, but that's because it sloshes around in him, he said.
Well, I said it sloshes around in his stomach. He does have, like,
Oh.
a physical
Okay.
body. It's
Oh,
just, like,
okay.
his heart wouldn't beat, his lungs don't function, his organs don't do anything. It's just, like, empty cavities that are mimicking it.
Would he even be able to? I guess he might be able to swallow.
No.
Gravity.
Just grab
He can grab it, and he can probably, like, try to, like, go, bud dump, if anybody's, like, he can make heart noises!
Oh,
With his
no.
tongue.
With your tongue, you can make heart noises!
Yeah, like that.
The world's greatest ventriloquist. I can polymorph someone into a heart, can't I?
Not into a heart. You have to be an actual creature.
Oh.
I mean,
Is there
unless...
a heart creature?
Not that I'm aware of, a living, horrible heart monster.
There's no heart mimic? Oh.
Heart mimic?
I don't know, man.
That'd be
Magic
awful.
universe.
It'd be like, it just like get into someone's chest and replace it, and you're like, oh, there's something wrong with me. All of a sudden, just
Yeah, it's like the
tendrils
chest
burst
burster.
out.
Yeah, it's exactly like Alien.
Wow. Anyway, so yeah, you would spend a night drinking, partying, having a relatively good time. You did retrieve Carrion from her misadventures. The general plan was to leave today unless any of you wanted to do anything else while you were here.
Nope.
Nope.
Can't help Catherine get his harem?
No.
A male elven harem.
We'll do it in the
Catherine
next
doesn't-
town.
Look, yeah, next town. Catherine doesn't normally lean towards elves, and all these elves are pretty like
They're too
xenophobic.
tall for him.
And I am a goblin.
Fair. What's your type then?
It's hard to describe.
Minotaurs?
No,
Big, strong,
not a furry.
Big and strong.
I think Kadron kind of plays it by ear,
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah, because it's not always big and strong, because you had the kobold.
yeah. It's not always exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I know big, strong Keldons are one.
That was the one guy, and it's because he was like the first one that I saw after no options for so long.
I mean, you probably had plenty of good times on the boat. It was good times on a boat.
Yeah.
I'm on a boat.
Listen, sailors are like that.
We've been out at sea for a long time.
Yep.
Got to put it in mouth.
No,
God,
it's okay.
did you just prison it? with
Why?
the ship? Anyway.
Why did you have to say it like that?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, like, I can confess to
I
like
do
ruining
not
things.
want to learn about the secret story plot that Claude shapeshifted into something that Kaz accidentally might have done.
No.
One of the shirt. I don't want to learn about that. Don't let that happen.
No, I don't think that was a thing. That'd be a really weird, like, strange series of coincidences.
Exactly.
I would have to actively try to do that.
Well, I feel like
Yeah.
Claude is this weird point in time. Like, if we're talking about this for a second, that Claude, it doesn't really make a difference because Claude is Claude.
We've got him ads.
Yes, right now.
I'm attracted to whatever I'm attracted to at that point.
Yeah, and it might relate to whatever form you're in currently.
I love how that's how I come back.
Anyway, yeah,
Welcome back.
you're all back.
Hi,
at...
I'm back.
Yes. So after your many misadventures for the night in the Caliphate bar and afterwards, you're back at Marin's house. Are there anything else any of you want to do, or are we kind of gonna move on then? Now that Matt's back and we can find out if Carrion has anything that she plans for. Nope. Okay.
Listen, I got a lizard. I don't care.
I think the only thing she would be looking for is round 2.
Well, she's got a lizard puppy, so I mean that makes up for a lot of things.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. It makes like weird like purring and like little like
How to
noises.
train your Kavu.
So it doesn't take you long to quickly set up for leaving. Nim contacts the folks around, arranging for everything. Basically saying goodbye to Marin, thanking her for allowing a lot of you to stay. He summons forth Razadek, who still has a wagon on his back. Probably a wagon and a horse. No, the horse may have been let down for a little while, but no one gets near the giant Kavu monster, so the horse has been safe.
Forgot about the horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a horse and a wagon.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm sure the town is happy to see us leave.
Well, before you go, though, Nim will bring out, like, he's like, I managed to be able to upgrade some of my maps. Perhaps we can take a look at a few of them. I was just going to pull out some stuff. It was something I was able to do yesterday. We're approximately here. Unfortunately, in Llanowar, the exact locations of most of the Elfheims are not noted on any particular maps, because they end up being territories rather than anything. As you can see, there's many houses spread amongst the trees, so central locations, say for things like the trade city we were at earlier, don't tend to exist. And a few others. We're going to want to head north. Now, the only unfortunate thing is, if we're heading towards Wyntris' home, it's on the western side of the Hurloon Mountains. So, I will throw up the map. Boop.
Don't we also have to cross, like, a bit of sea?
It tends to be around this area here. You don't necessarily need to hit the sea, but it's, like, because there's a lot of distinction between it. Like, the Hurloon Mountains are kind of in the center. The Red Iron is over here, and the Ironclaw are the ones these north here. He's like, we wouldn't have to necessarily cross one of the seas unless you wanted to, well, go somewhere else.
I'm thinking Keld. I'm sorry. My brain's dead.
I mean, if you really wanted to, we could take a trip to the Whispering Woods.
That seems scary.
Is it whispering? I think it is. It is.
It's
What,
Yeah.
what do they whisper about?
Whispering
You
Woods is
don't
on.
want to know. They whisper. They whisper real good.
Whisper real good.
Well, there are many things about the Whispering Woods which are quite good to know about. Legends say that the rare Black Lotus can be found there.
I heard that was banned.
No, why would it be banned? That's weird. It's just a mystical flower that appears in very rare locations. That's just quite strange.
I heard that if you get a limited edition, then it's cool.
It's quite expensive? Well, yes, of course it is. Though the Talarian Academy is said to have its own gardens of it, perhaps veil of it.
Some joke.
Lee just pity laughs because he has no idea.
I'm not a Magic fan.
Uh-huh.
Black Lotus is one of the rarest cards there is.
I know that. We talked about that one before.
Yeah, because we have a kill.
Oh,
We have
no
a
wonder
kill
this is going over my head.
But lore-wise, one of the things... Oh, I should leave the page, because I'm going to, like, the Whispering Woods wiki there for a second from a map. Realizing that. But no. No, one of the things is, like, when I was looking up, is like, oh, hey, this is where you find Black Lotuses. So...
Chaz,
Yeah.
do you think the boiling sea's in the Whispering Woods?
No, it's not.
There's not a
General-
sea in the woods.
Yeah, generally you won't find the sea, which is like a large body of water, in the woods.
Might
Honestly,
find a lake.
Well, then it's not the. Then it's not the sea; it's a lake.
in the boiling lake then.
Maybe it would be pretty weird, but maybe.
Maybe there's a geyser under it.
We found a river that boils sometimes, so maybe.
The easiest way to Hurlun, at least the territory we're going through, is through the southern Ironclaw. It's relatively safe nowadays, though a few remaining bastions of the orcs, goblins, and various other folks that live there are in the area.
How hard is it going to be traveling over the mountains with our horse and cart?
There is one known road. It shouldn't be too difficult to get to. At the northern edge of the Llanowar forest, as you kind of pointed out on the map, like around like this area, like in here, there's a trail that heads from east to west along the borderlands. We should be able to access it fairly decently. There's no exact trails to get to it, but I will have to send Razadek back, but he can probably accompany us to the road itself. Make it very easy to get on it. As I said, it's technically quite slightly outside the forest itself, on the borderlands between the two, where the forest becomes the mountains.
The mountains are easy, guys. You just walk.
The northern route, though, is unfortunately more ancient. It's probably less well maintained than the southern route that we saw. But then they used the ferries, which we avoided previously. The road should take us where we need to go.
Since there's only one road, is there any fear of bandits?
Probably.
Probably. As I said,
I'll
there are
just protect us all. I'll beat them all up.
orcs and goblins are the main creatures there. Though tales say that there are a few of the scattered dwarven clans make it home too. Though they are smaller and far few between. The orcs themselves have not been in the best of shape since the Rift era, but they still remain.
I have a question, Nim.
Sure.
Whatever route we take, how close is it to the mountains? Because I feel like a certain one of us might be interested in going a certain direction.
You're in northern Llanowar. You're in northern Llanowar, so you're close to the mountains. The other option would be to try to go west through the forest, and you'd have to hit up another Elfheim, which may or may not be friendly.
I look at Wyntris.
From there, you'd have to press north. I'm going to point it on the map around. I'll put this map back up for people to see on the stream. You'd have to press back up around here. That's the borderlands you kind of hit. And because Wyntris's home tends to be around this area up here. I'm pinging it, you know.
Right. Well, that's
So-
what we're
Changes
heading
by
to
the
mountain for Wyntris.
Uh-huh. Well, it's not too bad because Carrion's home is down in this region here.
Speaking of, we've lost Mads again.
Yes.
Yeah, I noticed.
I'm an
'Cause-
angry cat.
Because I do believe the plan currently had been visit Wyntris's home, visit
Ooh,
Holly
I'm
Carrion's
Dungeon
home.
Master again.
Yeah, for a little while. Technically, you're not because you're just in that position, so stop it. It's the
I'm still
joke.
Kazran.
As always, you remain Kazran and Maxwell remains Maxwell.
Yes. And
I'm
Liz-
flexible with where we go.
And
I
Liz
am
is two
interested in
people.
where everyone else wants to go, though.
Oh, I think Nim also had. Nim, did you have business in the mountains too, or were we just going there for Wyntris?
Personally, it's more for Wyntris than anything.
I
I
want
wanna-
to say hi to Big Bro.
I agree. I would be interested in meeting Wyntris's family.
Sure.
I'm
See,
fine with it.
unless the entire tribe got like eaten by a dragon or something, I'm sure they're still there.
Well,
What
again,
if the mountains became
thing-
boiling
thing-
mountains?
things in the Ironclaw Mountains tend to be very safe at this point in time. The Ironclaw orcs. It's not that they're cowardly. It's that legend speaks of an ancient curse upon them that prevents them from attacking anything that they would perceive as more threatening than themselves. Upon their entire lineage, giving them a seemingly a cowardly nature, even though they probably don't actually have it. Strangely enough, and well,
Also, they're just cool people.
the remaining goblins within the Ironclaw Mountains, they tend to be still savage, though many of them, after the invasion, spread out into the other areas of Aronia. Not seen as very civilized like you from Shiv, Kazran.
Bro.
But your people have at least had much more generations of attempting to. There was work to make you more what would modern societies call civil in some way before the invasion. I believe it was your people that helped with some of the excavations for artifacts that were used in the battles.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Plus, a lot of them helps. I think a few goblins help production of the Weatherlight.
But these here, it wasn't until the invasion that they got any kind of training or use. And those that stayed behind remained savage. Again, the Ironclaw Mountains tend to be very unpopulated, so we should be fine if we're going that way. The other direction, I could probably negotiate with the Elfheim if you wanted me to.
I'd vote beating up orcs and beating up goblins. Not you,
No, I
Cat.
get it. No, I get it. I know the goblins that you're talking. I mean, I don't actually know them, but I understand. Yeah, like
Are they your second cousin twice removed?
I can't beat up family friends.
no, I have no relation to them, nor would I want them. Also, again, I do hate my family. This is like a thing that has been stated. I do not like my family.
Ooh, look, dwarf on Magic the Gathering.
Oh. How does it feel to be a smart goblin?
Feels great. Feels really nice to also be off of Shiv. Which,
How does it feel to be a ship goblin but not have a ship?
gotten used to it. Yeah.
One day I'll get you a flying ship and you'll fly the world. That'll be my birthday present to you.
Thank you, Wyntris.
I think he plans on building.
He'll get it one way or another. I'm just saying, it's my birthday gift to him. If he makes it, then it's still my gift to him.
Sure, Wyntris, thanks.
But Barry, I don't think that's how that works.
The thought is what counts.
Oh, did it again.
Carry.
She can't go video right now.
Whatever. On a break, well, I'll readjust if it's going to be like this. We'll be fine for now.
Okay, Karen.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
I mean, it means nothing to me. I'm always in the same spot because I'm just cool like that.
So, what direction do you want to take? What route do you want to take?
I vote north.
I'm gonna vote whatever Wyntris votes.
I vote the easiest.
He votes north. He also votes north. That's 3 norths.
They would be equally difficult.
But I'm here. So
But we're
north.
also coming from the south.
Can you give me the nutshell version of both routes?
Ironclaw Mountains, old semi-used road that used to be an older trade route. Possible orcs, possible goblins, maybe friendly dwarfs along the way. Unknown what you're really going to encounter, so a lot of unknowns. The second route, cross-country through the forest, crossing a river, 2 rivers. No, one river, I'm sorry, that's where you are. You have 1 river, going through another Elfheim, another territory of an elf, and hopefully negotiating peacefully with them, which Nim has informed you that it's not that he's on bad terms with them, it's just that it's one of the Elfheims that he doesn't have a lot of communications with. The last time was even longer, but then the last time he visited his Elfheim.
But the first option is closer to Wyntris' home, right?
They kind of are equal. The one, eventually you have to turn north. Nim says there should be a trade route heading north from outside Llanowar on the west side, but he's not as familiar with that one, though, is the only thing. And the maps that he has doesn't show one directly. There are, like... He didn't have maps that had that, and he hasn't updated his maps with things from, like, the latest of, like, Benali and its territories. This is the...
Group huddle. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
These are Llanowar maps, which give some information, but not a lot of it.
Okay, group huddle. So I'm thinking the goblin and orc route might be good, because we can, like, if they're hostile, we can kill them and take all their crap to probably sell it for later. Because if they have an encampment, if they have an encampment like before and they have like boxes, then we can make huge bank off that.
True, I'm on board.
I agree more.
Now you just want to swallow the world, Maxwell?
No. You missed the part where I said if they're hostile.
If they're evil. No, they forfeit their stuff when they attack us.
They do.
I agree with going that route more so that we don't have to try to negotiate with another Elfheim.
Elves are kind of sneaky.
Yeah, see.
Most elves.
No offense, Lord.
They would like me.
Would they?
Let's take our chances with the orcs and goblins. You could probably help us fight in combat, right?
No, I'm all up for mountain.
Yes, sure. I mean, you do have an angel on your side.
You look very strong. All right.
We've been doing.
Then,
remember, we are his technically we are his bodyguards.
Yeah,
it's true.
We'll keep him. We'll keep him in the back, and he can cast spells.
Bold of you to assume Nim's going to help us ever.
He can cast hideous laughter.
He said he would.
Oh shoot! I accidentally closed. Roll 20.
Stream?
No, roll 20.
Nice.
He can cast Hideous Laughter on you, Max.
Oh, goody, my favorite.
Yes, that will definitely help. Casting Hideous Laughter on an ally.
Oh, sure. When has that ever gone wrong? And resulted in someone taking a lot of harm and then being impaled on the tree.
Maxwell says nothing. He just smiles really awkwardly like this.
Gonna
You did
pat
that.
Maxwell on the shoulder.
I mean, if it helps, technically, it led to Kerry joining a harem, so, you know, you have that going for you.
I will have to say, inadvertently, you did get me a lizard puppy and also got me laid. So,
So maybe not the worst thing in the world. I'm still sorry though.
I can cast on all of us a thorn bush, and I can see what that gets us.
Hurt is what it'll get us. It'll
yeah,
get us
pain.
I
already
will
been
pass
impaled
on
on
a
a
thorn
tree.
bush, thank you.
But
I had
pain
to go-
gives you treasure, apparently.
I had to go through your thorn bush before.
Yeah,
Wow.
you did very well. I'm so proud of you for making it and not dying. That was my best thorn bush. It was the first thorn bush I made, and you survived it, so you're very lucky.
Well, that's after I got brought back into consciousness.
Oh, that's why you're not so lucky, are you? You failed my test.
No, I passed out, then you thorn bushed, and I woke up in your thorn bush.
True.
You're weak. Did you pass out? Carrie doesn't pass out.
She's back in bog form.
Yep.
Although we can't hear you, Carrie.
No, we can't.
No. Well,
Well, I think we know our route.
You know your route. you're heading north.
No.
All right. So you
North.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yay!
we hear you.
I'm going
Why did I
north.
say that in character?
I'm going northwest.
That's because I duct taped her mouth, but she took it off, and now she's angry at me.
There's no such thing as duct tape, I don't think.
It's
No.
a duct.
Sure it is. It's tape that you put on a duck.
Yeah, it's just I just shoved it in your mouth.
Fuck is a
again.
duck.
We know what ducks are. Ducks are an extant thing.
Ducks are tasty.
It's true.
You know, I'll take your word for it.
Anyway,
Anyway,
Way north.
so you once again depart, getting upon your, I don't know if good friend, but associate, Razadek, the giant elemental Kavu.
oh, Nim, I have a question while we're traveling. Can you give Carrie some pointers on how to take care of her Kabu?
Yes.
I perhaps can. It's unfortunate.
Teach me about my child.
Well, it's unfortunate that I'm not an Adai, as I would then be at least privy to the expertises. But I can tell you some basics about treating it. It's you don't have the same deep bond as perhaps one of my species gets when you're given a Kavu. But a Kavu itself is, remember, always going to be, to a degree, a wild beast. They are savage and part of nature itself. Now, Kavu appear in many places across Dominaria. They are perhaps the greatest here in Llanowar and have the most variety, but there are smaller species or stranger species in other places, as I've discovered previously. Very few are as, perhaps, domesticated as the ones here. And even then, it wasn't a true domestication. As you can see, your little friend here, there's still a savagery to it. So you must learn its personality. That's one of the most important things. Understands its likes and dislikes. Also, Kavu are not as dumb as most animals. While a horse, or perhaps a cat or dog have a reasonable amount of intelligence, but still tend to be very animal. Kavu are, in fact, quite intelligent. If comparing to a human, an elf, or the like, it would not unfortunately compare. But they themselves have much more intelligence than you would be surprised. And, just like Razodek here, they can eventually learn your language. So it can be merely more than just your hand gestures. The greatest bonds are those with those that have learned. Again, though, you must be careful. Spend time with it until it at least grows into adult. That way, you'll be family, even in adulthood. And the savageness that is there will be kept away from directed at you. I hope that helps a little bit. They tend to be more carnivorous, though if you are looking for anything to feed it, it has, there are certain other materials. They are technically omnivores, much like many species are. It's just that they lean heavily into meats and stuff. Though during certain times of the year they will ingest various types of berries and fruits. They seem to enjoy them more than anything. Your little friend here will probably grow to at least the size of a full-grown horse, if not slightly larger, when it's fully grown. So remember that too. Any other questions you have right now?
What's his name?
Ophis.
You cute Ophis.
Listen, all I'm hearing is that I need to modify my backpack so that I can carry him around with me everywhere. And you know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Do you want help with that?
Kaz to do it.
Yes, Kaz. I
can.
desperately need help with that.
I could probably do that. It shouldn't be too difficult. I once turned the chair into something that a murder person can sit in.
You could always make a front pack.
That was strange. That was a strange chair.
Could make a front.
How you doing, Fishy?
Me?
No.
No! Tula!
Fine. Thank you for asking, though. I mean,
How's the forest treating you? Do you like the forest? You didn't like the desert, but...
the forest is very different. The desert was just awful because there was no water, and I technically need water to survive.
Desert sucks, dude!
It's fortunate that one of my race's unique traits is that we technically can breathe above or below water. It's because I don't know if it's because perhaps we are in some way related to some of the surface races, or perhaps something else entirely.
I never looked too close. We have gills.
I don't actually have gills the way that a normal fish would. I personally do have, I should kind of show the gill slits that some of my race has, but these are superfluous.
So they're skin flaps.
No, they can be used, but it specifically is like...
Then you have gills.
You know how you can... sometimes you can forget to breathe, and sometimes you can remember to breathe? Even if I forget to breathe, these aren't used. I would have to concentrate on using them.
But you have gills. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, not
Just
all
say
of my
yes
people...
and we can move on.
Fine, yes.
Yes.
Explaining the purpose of vestigial organs is a complicated thing.
I have more of an internal lung that functions as both a lung for air or for water.
Radiant, she has gills.
Lotula has gills.
That's what she's talking about.
Oh,
I don't think that's what she said. Whatever.
No, she said Radiant, she has gills. As in she's saying, hey, Radiant, Otula's got gills.
Lotula has a complicated series of respiratory organs that can include the vestigial set of gills.
Thank you.
Gills.
There are some of my people that you see that do not have these. I don't
They
know.
don't have gills, but you got gills, girl. So you better flaunt them and show them off.
I also tend to be a lot more savage than my average members of my race.
But you cute, girl. You cute. You keep doing what you're doing.
I mean, those that enjoy the horrible fangs and shark-like fangs that I have, then yes.
You cute. You cute, girl.
Lotula is very cute. I agree.
Oh, God.
I
Are
mean-
we there yet?
Are we just traveling via like giant lizard?
Yeah, you're just on the back of a giant lizard kind of hanging around.
Yeah, we're just trying to pass the time with
Yeah.
something.
We can like stand and walk around on it, right? Like it's huge,
It is huge, yes.
like kaiju-esque.
Well, also
Not quite
our
that
cart's on it, so we can be just like chilling in our cart on top of a lizard.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty big. Pretty big.
Is it like boat size big, like a small boat?
Like a small boat,
Big
yes. Small to medium boat. I mean, okay, probably big boat.
A medium
Uh,
boat is a bit.
Like,
big.
if I'm trying to think boat size,
It's like a small sailing ship.
yes, small sailing ship. There you go. That's a good comparison.
Like a shrimping ship.
Sure.
Oh God, no! Don't
Like a
don't.
riverboat. Like a riverboat.
Yeah, there you
You
go.
know, like those, like one of those boats with the big wheels in the back.
Yeah, there you go. Riverboat.
Yeah.
Are we rolling?
Who's your southern gentleman?
Rolling on a river.
That too.
No, we're in the middle of the woods.
Rolling in the woods.
Anyway, if your conversations are over, you can continue to enjoy the remainder of your trip through the forest of Llanowar without any trouble before arriving at the kind of transition area into the Ironclaw Mountains. It comes upon you very quickly. Because the forest is so, like, massive and overgrown, it's hard to see very far in front of you, even, like, looking ahead. You easily would miss, like, mountains in the very distance. So it isn't until you're maybe only a few hundred feet away you begin to realize that the forest is becoming smaller and more sparse, and that you're entering into a mountain range. The transition area is quite large, but it feels a lot more simple then. A lot more like the forests that maybe Carrion is familiar with. The ones around her home in the Highlands. I was gonna say, like, but Kaz doesn't really have trees where he lives, and
They burn.
Yikes.
they are resistant to large amounts of heat and tend to be, like, very cactusy.
If there are trees, they're palm trees, and they're only on the coast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And sometimes on fire.
And sometime on fire.
That tends to be very volcanic-y.
Or just because Kaz is around setting them on fire.
That also.
No, hey, arson is only intentional. There has to be a reason to burn something.
You're
down.
experimenting with your fire.
I would never intentionally just burn down a tree for no reason. What's the point?
What if you're testing a new weapon?
Yeah.
Was the weapon specifically used to destroy trees? I don't think he tested on that.
Yeah. There's plenty of other perfectly good stuff to try to, on purpose, accidentally burn down.
Like your brothers. Or
Like my
sisters.
sibling. No.
That ate each other.
They
No.
grow out of it. Cannibalism is a juvenile thing in goblins.
And they grow out
Goblin-
of it fast then
You have,
because
like, 4 living siblings, so not all of them are dead.
I do have some living siblings. Is it 4?
Goblin babies are different than human babies because goblin babies can already move around. It's just until they actually start becoming intelligent after like a few years, they're kind of like animals. Hence why they eat each other.
I have 3
That's
living
impressive.
siblings.
That's why goblins have lots of kids. They use numbers advantage. They also they breed like rabbits.
They breed like, yeah, I was gonna say.
I hate to say it, but goblins fuck.
Like my grandpa used
A lot.
to say, quantity over quality. Like, quality.
No, that's it's quantity.
No, you had it right the first time with goblins.
Yeah, that's quantity.
After about another hour, you will come into an area where the forest is almost beginning to recede, and the like scrub of the mountain is kind of coming into view above you. But there is what looks to be an old trail of some kind, an old road. It's definitely overgrown. It's definitely not been used in a long time, but it still remains relatively worn from previous ages. So, you will be deposited. The wagon will be set up, and Nim will give a farewell to Razadek. It's good to see you again, my old friend.
I'll miss him.
Until you're needed again, remain here. Though I will always have you in my heart, as you always have been.
No.
Bye, big reptile.
I guess we'll get the horse and cart off the back.
Yes, I said that. You got the horse and cart off already. That you took
Okay.
care of.
Bye-bye.
How overgrown is this trail? Is it like someone's gonna have to take lead and cut stuff down?
Probably won't have to
overgrown?
cut stuff down. Probably not that bad. It is a mountain trail, so it's kind of hard for it to like fully overgrown. It's not like it's in the forest. It's on
It's rocky.
It's rocky. There's some scrub here and there that have grown up. Nothing like big like trees. You're in an area where trees are far and few between anyway. It's a trail that like is probably like was kind of packed dirt anyway. So like there's probably slight washouts in some areas. Nothing that makes it impassable on your cart to travel, though might make it a little difficult and time-consuming here and there at times where you have to like either slow down to avoid problems, or if perhaps a tree started to grow in the middle, you have to have someone go down and cut down or something like that. Even if it's growing, it's not going to be a huge tree. It's going to be like, you know, maybe 10 feet tall at most. It's only been there for like a couple of years. But it's like it's a mountain trail. It doesn't overgrow very easily. Granted,
I will take charge.
okay. Do you have pilot ground vehicle?
That's a thing?
It is
Yes.
indeed a skill.
Oh, also question. When
No.
we were on that thing, did we get like a long rest?
If you wanted to, you could have.
Oh, okay, cool.
It was easy to get a long rest on the back
Is
of
it
the
actually a pilot ground vehicle?
Yeah.
Well, it's vehicles land. I have vehicles water because my background is a shipwright.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it is vehicles land. And it's something that like a soldier gets. Like soldier background gives you that, or yeah.
There's some folk
But I
heroes.
just meant in spirit.
I mean,
I have,
you can still
you have animal hand.
yeah, animal handling or just attempting it and hoping for the best are both ways that could work here.
Hey, can you inspire her to handle that animal better?
I can try. But like it's just a D6, no?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Wyntris, you can either roll animal handling, or if you want, you can give me dexterity, I'll say.
Does it have to be her who does this?
She chose to.
Well, she wanted to.
I am taking charge.
God damn it.
Yeah, I have a good dex too.
Yeah, I have 6. What do you got?
4.
Come here.
Let's
You
just
have
see
a
what
20.
happens.
You have a 20 dex. Dang.
Yeah, man. Jack of all trades is nuts.
Oh, that was me.
Jack of all trades doesn't give you a 20 dex.
No, but
It's not
on.
20. I have 6 for my saving throw. Is that what you mean?
No, not saving throw. He was saying an actual dex
My
check.
bad.
Yes.
Never mind. I have 3.
Wyntris probably kept putting stat ups into dexterity and therefore has a 20 dex. Mm-hmm.
Wow,
What
I'm
did you
an
get so good?
I am dexterous. Look at my
Well,
acrobatics.
she hooked things.
I rolled a 2.
Nice roll-ins.
I mean, you still got like okay acrobatics with a 2. That's the thing. Is like you rolled awfully and you still did decently.
There you go. How's that for an acrobatics?
Yeah, you got a plus fucking 12.
Got a better acrobatics.
I think Claude has expertise at acrobatics. I'm just saying. Expertise tends to make you really, really good at some certain things. Like really, really good. Anyway, okay, so Wyntris takes the reins and begins to move you up into the mountains. The initial part of the trail is definitely following along the outer edge of Llanowar Forest, and it goes on for quite a while, to about where the one river begins to like form from a mountain down into it. So you're actually going to come across that river, and actually like there's going to be like you would have gone up a little bit in elevation. So the river is coming down from the mountain, from smaller creeks in the mountain, and you can see there's a nice waterfall here that kind of comes down. It's a very impressive waterfall, with portions of it still actually frozen. The temperature here has definitely dropped a little bit, but not so much that you'd think it would remain frozen, but it looks like just the nature of it, like it shelters some inner areas and keeps it extra cold and keeps it frozen in a kind of way, even in months like this. Well, maybe it'll melt eventually, you're not sure. But it looks kind of neat.
How high did we get?
You're probably gone up at least 100 to 150 feet in elevation already along the trail.
Wow.
The mountains here, especially getting into the Hurloon Mountains, the elevations tend to get quite high.
Yeah, I'm just confused.
It's so high.
It's like spring, right?
Yeah, it's like spring.
I'm just confused why there's ice in the mountains at 100 feet elevation.
That's probably
Yeah.
it's probably a lot higher than 100 by now. Giving a good explanation, it's probably like 500 up into the mountains by now.
I don't think that's still correct. And I'm sorry, my nerd's coming. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm just saying, like it's got a kind of strange sheltering that you think, or some kind of. The thing is, also, you're in a world where there's totally springs of magical energy. Something could be magical there.
I was just saying, also, we don't know how high above sea level the land is alone.
True.
Yeah. The route will take yourself north now, and much deeper into the mountains. It's been a few days since you left Caliphate. As you begin to head much higher up into the elevations, it begins, like, the mountains themselves begin to get bigger. The Ironclaw Mountains seem to be probably not as tall as the Hurloon Mountains, but still have, I know that Joe is still the DM, because I have to move everybody, and I was going to move them on break, I said earlier. Thank you, Lightning.
Yeah, I was just saying that.
Yeah.
No, just I'm also powerful.
Mm-hmm. Because I got to move Wyntris and Carrie and me and you.
I took the form of the DM.
And you implode then, because it's too much power. Sorry. Claw's dead.
Beans.
He flew too close to the sun.
Yeah, shouldn't have done that. You're not the one with the wings. I don't know what to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no!
I can have wings.
Into a puddle of goo. What are we to do now?
I can have wings.
Oh
Yeah,
no!
but you didn't have wings when you flew too close to the sun.
I drank a Red Bull.
That
See, this
doesn't
is
work.
why I'm glad that I am resistant to fire.
That's
I
good.
fly too close to the sun.
What
You just
you
get a
could
nice tan.
possibly do now?
Yeah, I need
Yeah.
a nice tan.
A few more days will pass heading into the mountains. It's not an easy trek, but it is a trek that you can make in the horse. The horse is doing an all right job. The nights are definitely cold. It's definitely feeling a lot colder than it is. It's like, as much as it was very kind of temperate in the forest before down in Llanowar, you can definitely feel that there's like a chill to the air now. Now, not enough to like be freezing at night, but definitely enough that you probably want to have a fire. Or at least some heat source. Do you want to do that?
Internal temperature. What's that?
Heat source is probably a good idea. Yeah.
I mean,
I have a question.
You probably would need one at night. It's just the fact that fire is very noticeable.
Yeah, but we're fucking capable.
Okay.
But if we could avoid
I
conflict,
think it's feeling pretty nice at the moment.
Well, here's the thing. I'm fucking used to high temperatures, and I miss them.
yeah, I mean, but you can huddle with all of us for warmth.
Tiny little goblin.
You can huddle with us for warmth.
You have no body heat.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
That's not.
You
that's,
do
that's,
resemble that remark, because it's
I,
true.
I probably don't either.
Why not?
I think
Yeah.
I'm the hottest one
Fake
here.
English degree showing right there.
There's only
I know what I said.
There's only like one person here who has like a high body temperature, and she's a lesbian.
I mean, you're not wrong.
That doesn't mean you can't cuddle.
It would
Yeah.
be awkward.
I mean, there's no attraction between you, so it's not awkward.
I mean, we slept with
Hey,
Kaz
Kaz, you wanna
before,
cuddle with me?
so-
It's like a brother and a sister.
That makes it weird.
Let's not go there,
That
Claude.
does make it a little weird if you put it like that. But
I have
would
cuddling
definitely
for
cuddle with
warmth.
Kaz and Wyntris.
No, I have 2 older sisters. It would be, and I'm thinking it's weird.
Yeah, I say, yeah, it's weird.
I mean,
I'm gonna start.
I'm all right. I don't really need to cuddle, but I have wings. If that would help, they're feathered. I'm not affected by the cold. The cold is wonderful.
I
Right,
slowly
Wyntris?
scooch up next to Radiant and Lotula.
Yeah, the cold.
I like it so much.
And Latula's like, I'm technically deep water. It's cold down there.
I stand very close to Radiant and Lotula.
Okay, so I'm gonna be the only one using the fire, huh? Is that what's going on?
I mean,
No, I am using the fire.
Oh, good. So we have 2
I'll
on
use
team.
the fire.
Are you sure we want to use this fire?
Please.
But what if we get attacked by marauders?
Then we
You're
kill.
lookout. You don't
When we
sleep.
kill them, and
If
then
we could
set
attack-
them on fire and
Exactly.
use them as warmth.
I thought you were advocating for peace earlier, Wyntris.
I mean, if they attack us in the middle of the night, why aren't we going to kill them?
Look, here's the
Alright.
thing.
And
I'll make a small I'll make a small fire using only dry wood, so there's less smoke. And then we'll probably not get attacked. And if we are, we then use the fire against our attacker, or
we
use
build
even more
rocks
fire.
around it too to
Huh?
make it warmer.
I mean-
forgot the word for the tiny little things that go off the fire, the burny things.
embers.
Ember.
Embers.
Pocket embers!
Cute.
Anyway, you'll bed down for the nights, relaxing, making sure that you have fire, as it's definitely you can feel the effects of mountain already coming in.
I'm going to be near it, and I'll keep an ear out since I don't technically sleep.
Yes, you only like kind of go, ugh, and fall over
Well,
so you're dead.
And since Max doesn't sleep at all,
Yeah.
nor does Radiant,
Nope.
we have lookouts.
Yep. And Nim like trances for like a couple hours. So I mean, like,
Yeah.
because elf. Anyway, why don't we take our first break here? When we come back, we'll continue up into the mountains, the Ironclaw Mountains, finding out what's here, exploring, maybe fighting something, and hopefully heading towards the Hurloon Mountains, and which are much safer, and of course, Wyntris' home. So if you need to go to the bathroom, grab a drink, grab a snack, go ahead and do it, and we'll be back in a little bit. So See you in a second, folks. And I'll readjust the cameras.
Sentient spiders.
I mean, it's almost accurate to what we were talking about on break, but you know, almost. Anyway, yeah, hi, welcome back. A sentient group of
spiders?
a sentient swarm of spiders within a humanoid skin suit. That's what you meet on the road.
3.5
Oh, we pull out the bug spray.
When did you get bug spray?
It's what we call the flamethrower.
Yeah.
You do not know
Yes.
about that it's bugs. It's just like this like weird person with like skin that like kind of undulates. It's like
Oh, please, no.
Burn him!
Undulating.
Burn him now!
and it's got this kind of like weird like echoey voice of like, "Hello, I am Fred."
Burn him now.
No, thank you.
I think it's cool.
Anywho.
Says the man in spiders. Yes.
It's a collective.
3 giant spiders in a trench coat. Yeah, three like dog-sized spiders in a trench coat on top of each other,
I don't want to know what they're doing with each other.
just standing on top of each other. They're in a trench coat. It's
Wink.
like 3 babies in a trench coat. Jeez, get your mind out of the gutter, Joe. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Never.
Anyway,
Never.
all right. A few more days will pass heading into the mountains as you're kind of heading up higher into higher elevations as the road kind of winds up into the heart of the western part of the Ironclaw Mountains. As you're kind of going over a small kind of rise, though, you'll see in the distance what appears to be some kind of fortified settlement. It seems to be along the road.
Tally ho!
Do I?
Should we approach it?
Yeah, why not?
It's getting later in the day.
Like,
It's not quite night. You probably could go on for like a couple more hours, but if you wanted to, you could stop here and enjoy like hospitality, hopefully.
We won't have to start our own fire. They might just have fires.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe they got a torch or something.
Do I have any knowledge about this hell?
No.
We didn't start the fire.
This
No,
tends to be
that's the
outside the
point, is we
range that
wouldn't
you
have-
know about Wyntris. As I said, in the western Herlone Mountains is where your people live, and this is... You're not even in the eastern Herlone Mountains yet. You're in the western Ironclaw Mountains. There is a point where the mountains kind of... the two mountain ranges
Yeah.
actually come together, and it's actually noticeable because the Ironclaw Mountains are smaller than the Herlone Mountains. So you can tell the difference between the two ranges. There's a vertical stretch when you get into Herlone of about a few thousand feet. Anyway, all right, you can approach the settlement. The gates are currently closed. It's got kind of like wooden palisades all around it. It's as I said, it's a fortified community of some kind. There seems to be damage to the walls.
Well, it's closed, so let's just go sleep in the woods, please, in the mountains.
We'll just stop in the settlement.
Oh, it's closed.
But we'll knock on the
Question.
doors.
Does it
Don't
look?
knock on a settlement's doors.
Does it look like
Maybe
it's
you don't.
crudely made? Does it look like it's well made?
It looks fairly well made.
How about only 2 of us go up there, and if we get kidnapped, the rest of you can mount a, rescue operation.
I could try to stealth up and look around.
Or that. I like the kidnapping aspect, but
Yeah, look,
I thought you
going
were against getting kidnapped.
I'm against getting
He
kidnapped
turned it
by
on.
demons.
You know
If
what?
I'm
That's
getting
fair.
kidnapped by hot elf ladies or hot orc ladies, I'm totally fine with it.
Maybe not the orcs. They
Can't
might
say
try.
I'd be against that either.
It depends on if the orcs are gonna eat me or eat me.
That's the thing. I'm worried that the orcs are probably more likely to eat you rather than like eat you. You know?
First one, then the other.
No.
Who's feeling brave enough to do that plan? I don't know if I want to get into a kerfuffle again.
Look, staying in the town for fire is like largely a thing that I'm doing, so I'm happy to try it. But I
I'm
think
willing to go up and scout.
Yeah, let the silver slug boy go and scout.
Okay. I'm not opposed.
Oh, stay here. Hang with hang.
Okay. So you kind of got to go up and scout a little bit.
I'll roll you a stealth.
Yep.
Woo.
Oh, that's pretty good stuff. Okay. You kind of move up towards the edge of the wooden palisades. Things are quiet. It's not particularly dark, so it's less that you're trying to keep out of sight, more you're trying to keep quiet. You don't see anybody up on like the side of the palisades or anything like that. It does look like there was a tower in one spot, but it looks to be damaged. The top part of it seems to have fallen away, although there is like a platform there. You can see little bits of what look to have been part of the thing. And when you're getting close to the wall, you can actually see part of the structure had actually fallen over onto the outside of the palisade. Maybe.
Is there like a gap or anything that I can see in?
On this side of the wall, no. There are two walls to the palisade. It's kind of like built into like kind of like with like cliffs on two sides. The cliffs are pretty high. Not impossible probably for someone to attempt a like attack from above, but it'd kind of be crazy. So probably, you know, relatively safe. And you only really get sight of one side of it. The road does continue farther over by the other side of the wall, so you could kind of move around if you wanted to look at the like kind of the side to your left.
Yeah, I'll try to do that, see if there's any gaps or anything that I can see through.
Yeah, you'll notice that there's a large hole in the wall over there.
Well, that's a gap.
Part of the palisade has been broken down. There are a few what look to be rough. There's some like strange stains in the ground around the area of this place.
Does it seem to be blood?
It could be, but it's like weathered, and it's hard to tell at this point in time. It doesn't look like anything recently. Looks to be a number of homes and houses. Some of them seem to have taken some kind of damage. Others seem relatively intact.
Does there seem to be anyone around?
You don't see any sign of anybody.
I'm going to pull out then my little hand mirror and try to signal back to you guys.
Do you have any idea what those symbols mean? Those signals that
Absolutely fucking not.
Do you think he's telling us to, like, stay away?
Maybe he needs help.
He might be hungry.
Also viable. Do we have food we can bring him?
I think I still have a little bit of jerky. Carrie, did you eat the jerky?
Maybe we should go. He might be in danger.
Alright, we can check it out.
Okay.
I'm gonna have my gun ready.
I'm gonna have my rapier ready.
Alright. Everyone else weapons are ready?
Karen, Wyntris.
I love weapons.
We're well armed, right?
We're well armed. This whole time there's just a mirror flashing back.
Is Carrion and Wyntris coming with us?
Yes, sorry, my internet went down, so I had to turn it off again.
What's
How
Wyntris'
far
is
am I
Did Maxwell say something then?
Do you want us to stay here with the
Come
horse?
on, we're gonna go save Claude's ass.
I like the horse. He's been nice to me.
I think
How
you should go
far
along with
away
us.
am I from the group?
Like 300 feet, we'll say.
Can I drag Nim with us?
You could if you want to. He's like was just gonna stay with the horses at this point in time too. I mean, if you want to have him.
How convenient the strongest character stays behind for every chance there could be danger.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's game design.
Almost like we were hired to protect him.
Almost as if yes, that's exactly what you're hired for.
Alright, well, the three of us are gonna go.
I'll go.
Right,
I'll miss you, bubblegum butt.
she can come with us too.
The horse probably has the horse definitely has a name because Catherine wanted to name it Lunch, and that was shot down.
I named it
Yeah,
Highwind.
no, it had a name when we got it, I thought. Or maybe it didn't.
No, I actually don't remember.
No, it did, because I wanted to name it Myrtle, but I don't remember what the name was.
Let's name it Jeff. Let's just say it was Jeff.
I called it Highwind because I'm pretty sure I was the one who scored the horse for us.
Did.
I think we should have named it Ornan.
I couldn't hear that actually.
Because then you can play with the Ornan.
All right, let's go help our buddy.
Okay. Okay, you'll all head down to meet up with Claude. Everything still remains quiet around here.
It looks abandoned, guys. I was
Okay.
singling in for you guys to come.
I thought you might have been hungry. I didn't know what the signals meant.
I could really teach you guys how to read these.
Can I like investigate this area?
Sure.
Okay.
You can move into the small settlement and take a kind of look around.
Do I roll for that? Or?
Roll investigation. Yeah, go ahead. All right. You do pick up some basics of it. You're not sure who lived here. The houses do look a little small for humans. Again, you don't know a lot about orcs. This doesn't really look like something goblins would have, but with an abandoned colony of something, it could be anybody. The walls seem like the main gate seems relatively intact. It seems as though like it held. You can tell that there's some damage to it, so as if some people try to probably batter it down. On the inside, it's definitely noticeable. Some of the houses look like they've been destroyed, others seem intact. And there seems to be a mine here.
If you want, I could go in and scout around some more. I just want you guys to be closer before I went any further.
If you want to carry on, you can. Is there any loot or anything to scavenge?
You don't. You wouldn't see anything worth value in the area. It's hard to tell how long ago this was abandoned, though.
Here, I'm fine with taking loot from like bandits. These are like people's homes.
But it's been abandoned.
They might come back.
I mean, you're not wrong, but it doesn't seem like there hasn't been any sign of life here in a while.
Oh, it's still not like I'm not all good for looting, personally.
There's looting and then there's looting. You know?
I'm just saying we can even it out.
And then there's
ethically
looting.
if we sell it and give it to
This
charity.
is a war crime, you know.
Is it? I'm sure there's no Geneva Conventions against it.
There
War
might be.
crime.
But there's also looting.
Did you just say we could give it to charity?
Yeah, that evens it out on the ethical scale. You do something
There's
evil,
no
give it to charity. And...
here.
I don't think charities exist.
Charities don't really exist now.
Do they not?
I mean,
Churches give charities.
Maybe
you
can invent
give it to like
charity.
an orphanage, probably. So you would have to.
that's-
Do you know any orphanages?
I mean, we can find
No.
one on the way. No.
I mean, I just don't trust you guys with an orphanage. So
Fair. You know what?
Fair.
I
You
will
know?
accept that.
I just feel
No,
like
no,
there will be
we just don't
accidental
trust-
burning in its
We
future.
don't trust Wyntris with an orphanage. She would burn it down.
I mean, those kids are
Catherine
jerks.
wouldn't intentionally,
Probably not.
unless
I
it
think
was
they'd be
an
scared of
evil
my character, honestly, so I wouldn't go near that.
I'm gonna scout up ahead then.
As I said, it
join
seems
you.
to be about a dozen buildings in here. Most of them seem to be family homes, but two of them stand out. One seems to be probably some kind of bar, maybe an inn, and the other one seems to be maybe like a meeting hall / town hall kind of thing. Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna go to the meeting hall.
Okay.
See if there's any records of what might have happened here.
It's like a one-room meeting hall. There's definitely like there's a long table in here, but it's not the kind that you would like. It's the kind that you'd sit on the floor around. But there's not even pillows around it. So it's probably people who just kind of like kneel down on the floor. Probably not kind of like a society where we're not really like you're small.
Comfort wasn't a necessity.
Yeah, so people would probably just kind of sit down around the table. There seems to be... Actually, the area is kind of scattered with what looks to be dishware and stuff. maybe there was some.
Someone had a bad party.
Yeah. Either they didn't have a chance to clean up, or, you know, something happened while they were having whatever kind of meeting here.
Okay. No papers or anything around?
Unfortunately, no. There's a strange kind of torn banner with part of a symbol on it, though, on like kind of at the head of one of the sides of the table. Because it's kind of like a longhouse where you're coming into one side. On the opposite end, you can see part of that banner. It's the only thing that seems to have a sign of something about this place.
Could I take the banner down at all?
It's quite large, but you probably could. There's ties on the walls that you can kind of get off so it would come down.
I'm looking through my I'm looking through my stuff.
Like,
I don't have any.
It's destroyed. It's like parts of it are destroyed, so it's more than just like, you know, oh, we can like look at the entire thing. It's like parts of it are like torn off, destroyed, kind of thing. You don't see any signs of any kind of like food or something other than on the dishware, so it's again like a sign that maybe this hasn't happened recently, but it's very hard to tell.
Can I make a knowledge history?
Yes, you can. You can make it
the
with
banner?
disadvantage, though.
Okay, let's see what I can do here.
Mm-hmm. Because it's only part of it. You still got a pretty good one. You cannot tell exactly whose it is, but you do recognize that it's certainly not human. It could be one of the more rare humanoid races. It could be dwarven.
Maybe like dwarf. I was gonna say maybe a dwarf.
There are a few other rare humanoid races that do tend to the mountains. You just don't see them a lot. You don't know a lot about things like kobolds. Could be kobolds. Right. A group of kobolds used to live in some of these mountains. You know that, but theoretically, you have either they went deep into hiding in the mountains or they went extinct around the Rift Era. So about 100 years ago, they kind of like were lost to history. There are other groups that it could be. You don't think it's orcish, but you don't know a lot about orcs. Orcs aren't normally this organized, but again, like, you don't know a lot about the Ironclaw orcs anyway. And you're fairly certain this wouldn't be Goblin unless someone else helped them establish this.
Should we check out the bar?
Okay.
An abandoned bar? Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Might be able to find, even if there's like paper, sign up or something, you know, any writing might be able to help determine who these people were.
That's true.
Yeah, we'll go check out the bar then.
Okay. The bar itself, again, it seems to have the same kind of aesthetic as the Longhouse, that they have, like, the main bar. They have an upper floor. This is one of the buildings that has remained most intact. Like, again, like, most of the buildings, pretty well intact. Only a few of the houses have been seemingly destroyed by probably whatever happened here. I'll give Lee, with your investigation, you think maybe siege weapons of some kind. Perhaps, like, maybe a catapult or something, or a ballista. Especially, like, that lines up with Claude with damage to that tower that you saw.
Oh. This looks like one of those trebuchets.
Probably not as big. Probably not as big as a trebuchet. Trebuchet is like step.
Well, I kind of wanted my guy to be ignorant about it for the joke.
Oh, okay.
This looks like one of those trebuchets I've seen in other nations.
Max, do you want to take the top floor? I'll look around down here.
Assuming I don't get jumped, yes.
No, I'm not far away.
I want to jump Maxwell.
You want to jump Max's bones?
No. Close enough, though.
Yeah, I'll take a look and see what's up above.
Okay.
I'll take a thorough look around the lower bot area.
Okay. Upstairs, seems like at first you think it'd be like an inn, but it actually looks to be like a number of each of the. It seems to be 4 what could best describe as like apartments almost. There are areas that have like a main living area with a very small like bedroom connected to it, and like a small like storage closet. Some of these seem to be occupied, others seem to have been abandoned. The ones that have occupied, you seem actually like they haven't been fully looted. You can find a few things of like sets of clothing and stuff. Again, it kind of hints you at it's kind of torn, ragged still. Nothing is quite intact because it does look like something at least rifled through the area and kind of left out stuff. And like there's a window in each of these rooms, so like they're not, that's kind of broken open, so it's been exposed to the elements too. But
Joe, you're echoing, by the way.
I'm not even making sound right now.
No, there's
weird.
echoing
Yeah,
on
well-
your end.
Yeah, Matt's thing is echoing through that because it's showing both of the Discord things lighting up.
I don't know why it does that sometimes. Now it's not. Oh, there it goes.
Wow.
Are you on the stream and do you have it muted?
My stream is muted.
Okay, then I don't know what's going on with that one. That's odd. Anyway.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's just weird. So. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Yeah, on this upper area up here, you can see that, people would have lived in these areas. Again, like, it looks as though people cleared out stuff here, or at least rifled through it. Kind of torn, very simple clothing, nothing very fancy. Definitely for someone shorter, but it's hard to tell the exact height. Again, you're not sure about orcs, because you've never really seen one of them, but like something like a dwarf, kobold, goblin, those races are on the shorter side. And after the Phyrexian War, there were some goblins that were relatively civilized, so it's like goblins aren't out of the question, just highly unlikely here. Downstairs, you can, for those of you that are down there, you can see that the bar is pretty well intact. There's a number of bottles still left. Most of them seem to be various bottles from places across Dominaria. It seemed like whoever ran the bar here had a pretty decent collection of stuff from places. A lot of it are still common drinks, but they're common drinks from a number of places. There seems to be a tapped barrel of ale that unfortunately looks like it has some kind of slash mark on the one side of it, and it leaked out. But seemed like ale was probably the main drink of some kind, unmarked on the keg. And then, of course, a lot of the bottles in the back. Some of which are partially filled and used, others are not. The partially used ones, they're in various states of, like, staleness. Some of them are probably still drinkable if they're opened. The sealed ones are probably okay. There's, like, maybe half a dozen. Again, they're like wines or a couple of hard liquors from just various places. Like, there's a particularly good, like, I feel like something akin to, like, what would Shiv have? Like what do you think? Like a rum, a whiskey, a tequila, a vodka. What screams Shiv?
Probably like an agave tequila, because like their trees are close to like more like cacti.
Yeah. Okay. So some kind of like a tequila of some kind, then yeah.
Yeah.
Like a sweet tequila. There's probably a bottle of that. Something from Benalia, something from Jamora, from Zaparda, no, from Efreva, something from Otaria, and a couple other places. So there's 6 like decent bottles, and the rest of them are, some of them might be drinkable. That's the kind of way I'll put about it. They might be drinkable. Up to you if you want to try.
Yes.
Worked for me.
I'm at least resistant to poison.
Wait, what if instead of drinking it, we bottle it up and save it for later to sell?
What if I grab a bottle right off the shelf right now and drink it?
It's awful.
Did you
Wait,
guys
it's
even come?
Yeah, we're not there. Well, no, we probably saw you going for the bar, and we're like, oh fuck, we're going to a bar. Okay, that's a thing. We like bars.
I think like the thing about the bar is like there's 6 bottles which are unopened. You can take those easy if you want. Someone write those down if you're taking them. The other bottles,
I am.
they were previously opened, and
I want to take the
they're
bottles. 'cause I wanna
all probably stale or going bad. It's just they have various degrees of them. It's
Why
what,
don't we put the unopened bottles in the bag of holding?
yeah.
Oh God, all right. How much? What's the fucking? How heavy are fucking bottles?
sell. Every time mass comes up, it's like, oh.
Not a lot, but
Well, because I have to fucking like keep track of this, or my dang fucking bag's gonna explode or some shit, and I don't want that. Do you know what happens when bag of holdings
I'll take one of the
explode?
bottles too.
When bag of holdings explode, they create fucking black holes.
No, they don't. Only if it's
That's
an extra-dimensional space. If it breaks, it just throws everything out of it.
into the
Yeah,
astral
but-
plane where you'll never recover it from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah, it's worse. It's worse than just exploding. Because it's just like everything ceases to exist and goes away forever.
Okay, a bottle is 2 pounds.
Is that full?
I don't know. It just says bottle, comma, glass.
We'll assume
Let's
it's going to be full of liquid. Sure.
Okay. Well, I'm taking one. Mads is apparently taking 2.
Yes.
Some 3 more.
So that leaves
Can I-
3.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wanted to shove some into bag of holding too,
Okay, so then
just because
3.
like I feel like these might sell.
Well, these are 3 unopened bottles.
As I said, they're probably not going to sell for a lot. They are international, but they're like common stuff from where they are. Like,
Oh, are they?
Yeah. They're
It's like
If that's the case, I'll hold on to one of them in case I get like
it's
a
like
lighter or something.
Shiv. It's like, think about it, like Shiv has their like version of tequila. They ship that stuff out. There is like global trade networks at this point in time in Dominaria's history, you know. So they ship that shit out, and so this is
Okay.
the stuff that they ship out. There's probably more expensive alcohols that do leave the country, just much rarer. This is the stuff they do tend to actually like, you know, trade with other people.
Okay, well, maybe I won't sell them. Maybe I'll just hold on to them in case we run across maybe a very thirsty alcoholic who won't kill us if we give it to them. You
It's
know?
like Bonali is like, I feel like, I'm not exactly sure, but I feel like they're known for their wine, you know, so they probably have like a lot of wines and stuff.
like fucking France.
Yeah.
Like some shitty champagne.
So we're not finding anything with writing no on it or anything like that.
I mean, like, nothing that, like, these bottles are all marked, but they're from all over, you know, so it's not really, like, screaming
I
it.
mean, in the bar itself.
In the bar itself, you don't see anything. The till on the other side is knocked over. It's empty. There is a back room. If you go back there, it leads to, like, there's a storeroom and a kitchen.
I'll check them out.
Okay.
Your perception.
Sure. You didn't have to have disadvantage there.
I shouldn't have had disadvantage. I didn't mean to.
Mm-hmm.
But it would have been the 16 anyway.
I will
because
take
would've
your
hit
16 because it's your first
one.
number that you would have rolled. Okay. So yeah, you'll take a look around. The kitchen itself seems pretty well intact. You'll notice there's a number of like cutlery all left in place. It doesn't seem like there had been a meal being cooked at the time that whatever happened. At very least, this place was cleaned up. On the other hand, the storeroom is actually a little bit of a mess. It looks like some boxes had fallen over. Now, the boxes, like, you can kind of look into them, like vermin, like whatever kind of mice or stuff that live up in the mountains here, they got into them. All the stuff is, like, definitely, like, eaten up that would have been stores here. Or, like, there's a couple of them that, like, are probably like dried stuff that look like, you know, dampness got into it at some point in time. Like you find some dried meats that looks like, you know, some water somehow got into the box, like through a leak in the roof. That looks like, you just notice there's a little bit of damage. The stuff kind of molded. And, like, it's still molding, because, again, like, dried meat is very hard to go through that kind of thing. It takes a lot of time to break down. But you will notice...
Okay.
I was going to say, if you would move a couple of the boxes, you notice there is a trapdoor leading to some kind of basement.
Okay. Before I tell everyone about that, can I make any kind of, like, either maybe a survival or check or anything to figure out maybe like how long this stuff has been sitting? That
Sure. From the damage and what's going on here, you estimate that it probably has to be at least 6 months. At very least. At most, you don't think this is more than, like, say, like, 5 years. So somewhere in between. Unfortunately, because you do not know when the water got in, and dried meats that were sealed in a box probably would have stayed for a very long period of time. Also, like, you don't know how many supplies they had in some of these containers before stuff got into them. So they could have been pretty low on supplies, too. You can't judge that.
Even having it know it's been at least 6 months is helpful.
Yeah, but you're thinking it's between that range just because, like, you're giving an estimation. You're like, you know, it's not that you have a lot of experience. It's just that because you travel a lot and you do have experience carrying stuff sometimes, you kind of are giving, like, it's a wide estimation, but it's unfortunately, like, it lets you know that it's still been a number of months at least, you think.
Guys, I found a trap door back here, and I would say, at the very least, this happened at least 6 months ago. I don't think anyone's coming back.
All right, let's... Have you looked in the trapdoor yet?
Not yet. I figured it would be better to have everyone around.
All right. Who's up for a trapdoor adventure?
Me.
Aren't trapdoors traps?
No.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, but...
Oh, we should check.
I can check.
Yeah.
What would that be?
Investigation.
Oh, well, if it's I can perceive. I'm not very good at investigating.
I'm a smart motherfucker. I could try investigating.
Do it.
I'll look.
You don't see any traps on it. I mean, once you clear the boxes away, it seems like it's just a trapdoor. I can say the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
No
a trap.
No.
So it's just a door.
Yes.
It's just a door that you flip up and look inside.
If you guys want to stand back, I'll open it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Don't scare it by saying trapdoor. That's just like using the wrong words. You know, it's not if it's not a trap, then it's just a door. So
Well, no, trap.
is a trap.
There's a door in the floor.
No, that would be a trapped door. This is a trap door. It's a compound word.
That's what I said.
No, trapped has 3 extra letters.
No, that's what I said. I said this isn't a trap door because it's not a trapped door. That's what I said, Cat. Don't listen.
As everyone's arguing about this, I just try to open it normally.
I just said I opened the door.
Oh, I go down first.
I've never seen
Okay.
actually.
You very easily notice that there is something down below at the bottom of the stairs. As soon as you open the doors, there seems to be a dried corpse with an axe in its back.
Fuck.
How dark is it?
Fairly dark. I mean, it's a pitch black basement.
A lot of us have dark vision, though, right?
Yeah.
I'll go, if you want, I'll check it out.
Carrie, what's up?
Well,
I was just gonna say maybe the person with a lot of health should go first.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys are arguing. I just did it because I was like impatient.
I wasn't doing it. I was just waiting for you.
Okay, then you can come along with me.
Yeah, I go along with Max first then.
Okay.
I will follow.
Well, everyone else.
I'm following
This is
suit. I'm the one who opened the door.
Right. I say to everyone, like,
Kaz and it's just Kaz and Wyntris.
No,
just
Kaz
at the
is
top
Kaz is
arguing.
determining that this is a pointless argument, and Kaz will be following.
Most arguments of Wyntris are pointless.
I
Yeah.
have noticed.
are you guys seeing what I'm seeing with the corpse?
Yes. I see
No, it's
that.
only
Who
you.
owns the torch?
There's
Well,
no
I mean, I can
torch.
summon dancing lights so you can see better. Because none of us have a torch on our equipment at the moment, right?
Nope, it is dark.
I
Yeah,
pick up
summoned-
a.
So,
Is there a rock?
Line.
Is there a rock?
Down there might be. Up here, no. I mean, there's like
here's a piece
a
of box.
moldy piece of like jerky.
Here's a piece
I
of box.
will.
I just give her my lights so she can like use them to see a little better.
Yeah, that works.
I
And they
mean,
kind of like dance around her.
yes. Okay.
They get a teensy bit of vision, right?
Yeah, they're light source. They're like
Okay.
they're like a
Give her-
torch. Yeah.
I don't like these firebugs, and I kind of want to kill them.
These are to help you see, Wyntris.
I don't like bugs.
They're
They're
not
not
allowed.
bugs, they're magic.
They're not even.
No,
They're
look.
not around me.
We can't
They're
do
bugs.
this. We can't do this every 5 minutes. We just can't. We can't have one of these Wyntris arguments every 5 minutes. We'll get
Whether you like
nothing.
them or not, they're there to stay to help you see.
And you can't hit them.
Hey guys, there's a dead body here.
Yes,
Yeah,
there
I'm
is.
gonna look
Has an
at
axe
We're,
in
the
its
axe.
back.
we're all looking at the dead body.
Do we see anything else down here?
It seems to be some kind of like small underground area. You don't see anything. It seems to be dug out, so it's like a very like, it's not like a furnished floor like above. Like these are
Like a
stone.
cellar.
These are decently like stone buildings that someone put together. So like down here it's just
a
like
fruit cellar?
like a root cellar or something.
Yeah.
What race is the person?
You can't tell. They're on their back with an axe in it, or they're on their face with an axe in their back.
I would
They're
like-
very shriveled too.
I flip over the body.
Wait,
Okay.
no, I'm gonna take the axe out first, so then it's easier to flip over the body.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll take a little bit because it's kind of well stuck in there. Looked like it cracked through the ribs on the person, whoever this was, back, and kind of just severed the spine.
Ow.
Yeah. So whoever axed them in the back really did so well.
Is that a special kind of axe, or is it just an ordinary one?
It looks very well made. It's kind of got intricate designs on it.
Can I history check to determine the origin of axe?
Sure.
Like if it has like some markings
Yeah.
of a
Well,
specific
history.
race of craftsmanship. Yeah, let's do history.
Yeah, I'll assist.
18.
I assist you.
All right. Yeah. Claude. The two of you kind of discuss for a little bit, and then Claude's like, "Oh, I recognize this. Yeah. You've heard of markings like this? This is a dwarven axe."
Ew. All right.
So a dwarf killed this person.
Mm-hmm.
I investigate the body, see if he's got anything on this person.
Make a medicine then. Again, it's a shriveled body, so it's hard to tell. But all right.
Oh,
Wow.
You'll flip over the
I
body.
don't even have a single modifier for that. Holy
You'll
shit.
notice some certain things about it. The person is like is almost like kind of completely bald, so they don't have any hair. They've kind of pointed ears. You're thinking their skin probably had a kind of greenish to it, and you'll notice that there is like it's not a tattoo. When you flip it over, there's almost like this, like etching that goes all the way to the bone in the skin on their like forehead, like kind of like on the top of their head, that looks to be like almost like a secondary like kind of like bestial skull marking.
What's
you
the
just called
height?
Harry Potter.
Fairly tall.
Okay, so not
I don't
goblin.
suppose there's
You
some dwarven
are-
cult in this region.
No.
How's the?
I'm gonna give you,
lower
because you
height?
rolled very well on your medicine check, you think this might be an orc.
Does it got the tusk?
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
it's an orc, guys.
Aren't orcs normally taller?
Uh,
This
said,
thing,
like-
is this thing tall?
This thing is
or-
tall.
Yeah.
this
Okay,
thing is taller
so
than what would be in
I-
this
then-
place.
Then this was probably a dwarven settlement.
And the orcs
If
attack.
whatever killed this and the orcs attacked, maybe
This I'll give you, Lee, this body, though it's kind of shriveled up, it's definitely only maybe at most a month old. Maybe less.
This body seems very fresh. It almost looks like it's less than a month old.
That's not fresh.
But a lot
That's
fresher than
fresher
what Claude saw.
Yeah.
I don't think
Does it
bodies-
have anything on it?
Yeah, that's what I was curious about. I wanted to like frisk the guy.
You'll notice that like each of its arms have like these like massive kind of like almost like clawed blades which kind of come out of it. That seem to be made of like, so it's like kind of like Wolverine claws on each side. Hence the name Ironclaw.
The guy have a wallet on him.
Not really, no. Got very simple kind of like a scaled armor on it. So like it definitely just looks to be a soldier of some kind, or a raider maybe. Hard to tell. You don't know a lot about the Ironclaw orcs, except for what Nim had told you previously.
Seems like a grunt that got killed here. Doesn't seem like I mean, clearly he's no threat to us now, but I can't help but wonder what the rest of his people were up to.
No.
Maybe we should check out the houses.
Perhaps. I personally don't think there's much here of any use.
Other than the
Shelter
body
for
down
the
here,
night.
Other than the body here, you don't really see much else down here. Seems fairly empty.
At the
Look
very
around to see if there's like anything hidden.
Before we leave, are his eyes open?
Yeah. I mean, he's got that kind of like eyes open, like in a horrified look of like, you know, like because like someone just axed him in the back and dropped him down in here.
I
Look,
kneeled down and I
I
closed
don't know.
his eyes. Yeah, I kneel down and close his eyes so he can rest in peace.
Okay.
Does he still have eyelids, or have they decomposed?
I mean, like, they're probably like it probably doesn't have. There's probably just enough to like close what's left of his like kind of rotting eyes and stuff. You know, it's pretty unpleasant. Otherwise, it's like,
I'm
ooh,
pretty
you're
sure
just
the eyes go first.
yeah. There's still some like bits of yuck left that could be considered eyes. You know,
The
sure.
eyes turn into food.
I use my spectral hand to close his eyes. How about that?
Yeah, just like I'm just gonna use mage hand or spectral hand just to close those eyes. I'm not gonna touch it.
Mighty DM.
Ah, you got a 27 perception. Then yes, you'll take a look around here, and you will find in the one side of the area here, hidden behind kind of like what looks to be like maybe like just stones in the dirt wall, it looks to be an actual passage. Because again, like this is not like necessarily, this is like a little bit of dirt and into the stone here, because it's like, you know, you're up in a mountain. There's not like a huge layer of dirt up on a mountain. Just in some places there's a little bit here. And the dirt didn't seem to go this deep. So it seems like when they carved this out, they carved into the stone a little bit to get this basement. Maybe they wanted a little bit something more, but there's definitely a tunnel of some kind here.
There's a passage over here.
I definitely wanted to check it out because I'm bored.
I'll follow. Look, at the very least, we can like stay in one of these old abandoned buildings tonight, so we'll have like a little
Yes.
more shelter.
I will follow as well.
Okay, you're gonna start moving the rocks out of the way?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we gotta be careful. Last time we came across a collapsed tunnel, well, it had just collapsed, and Carrion almost died.
Is this collapse or is this just rocks piled up to hide it?
It looks like rocks piled up to hide it.
Yeah.
Something here. Okay. Check something. Pretty decent. Okay. That. Alright, okay. Wyntris,
Well,
you feel something in your back, and you hear somebody saying a language you do not understand, they say something to you. Something sharp is in your back.
I yell ow and hi at the same time.
Ow, why?
What are you saying hi to, Wyntris?
Something bit me in the back.
No, there's like a weapon of sharpness stabbed into your back.
Stabbing you.
Yeah, someone is holding a weapon to your back and says something to you that you don't understand in a language you do not speak.
I think we all are turning around and looking at Wyntris.
Yeah.
We're in a
Yeah.
tunnel.
Yeah, you're clearing out the entrance of a tunnel. Wyntris was in the back and just got now, like, you know, there is a stout man covered in, like, dark robes with kind of, like, what looks to be maybe, like, darkened, like, black paint on their face. Kind of gruff beard. Yeah, you don't know how to speak the language.
Are you sure it's not a dwarf cult?
He has, like, in each hand there's an axe. You'll see one of them, you can just see sort of the top of it sticking out of Wyntris. The other, he's kind of sliding over towards her throat as he kind of says something once again.
Okay, could you, like, speak up?
None of you speak Dwarven.
Max does.
I speak everything.
Everything.
Oh, then Max, you'll hear him just like, "Quit your digging, filthy orcs."
Hold on. I tell the party, stop digging right now. He thinks
Okay.
we'll work.
I think that might be a slur to me personally, because
Question. There's lights floating around me.
Slaughter your goblin slave.
what? Fucking what?
I don't hear that. I don't hear that.
Yeah, I'm the only one who understands that.
Yeah.
What do you say?
So if I'm
He
hearing someone speaking the unknown language, comprehend languages.
He
Shaman!
He
Mhm.
said, slaughter our goblin friend.
Sorry. Okay. Okay, as soon as you cast the spell, he's raising this thing to slide. I'm just gonna have, like, I mean, like, he's on guard, you're casting a spell, it's an aggressive action.
Perhaps we shouldn't do anything while our friend
Yeah.
is held hostage.
Yeah.
Just as a suggestion, Claude. Who are you? What's going on?
Shut up, orc.
We're not orcs.
He's just gonna kind of squint at you.
Do you want proof? I can illuminate myself to show it. I'm a human.
Well,
There's already lights flying around me.
And she's obviously not an orc.
I am a
Most of your
goblin. You got
holding
that.
isn't an orc either.
How do I know you're not working for the orcs?
We're travelers from a different region entirely. We don't even know anything about this region. We noticed
Do
that
you
there was a
speak
dead orc in the
common?
basement in the trapdoor while we were exploring. Was that you who did that?
What did you say? I was checking something in the meantime while you're saying something. Sorry, I was rolling
I
something
was
for him.
Oh yeah, it's all good. I was saying we found a dead orc in the basement while we were exploring the place. I'm assuming it was you who did that?
Scavenger, trying to pick over the remains.
Well,
Can't have
He's
him
not-
find the hole.
You don't understand him.
No, yeah, you guys don't understand. What did
no, I'm
you say?
saying
Matt?
out of character. He's not wrong.
Yeah. Or what did you say, Matt?
Can't have him find the hole.
We can
Maybe I
leave.
should just
if,
eliminate all of you because you found the hole.
we can
tell
leave
the
if you're worried
secret.
about us discovering anything else. If that's what you're concerned with.
Make a persuasion check. Roll that. Let's see how well you can be persuasive to this guy.
I'm really nervous because Wyntris is in a bad spot. Ooh,
Good
doggy,
roll.
I'm rolling
Okay.
good tonight.
Your long legs never steered any of us wrong before. I don't think you'd work for the elves. Why do you have a goblin? Slave? Like the orcs?
Okay, before I answer this, let me detect. Will he notice if I do detect thoughts, but without probing?
Probably. It's hard to cast a spell without looking it look like a spell, especially if someone at least understands when a magic spell is being cast.
Okay. Yeah, let me not mess
like,
around with that.
You can, like, it's like you can gamble, but remember, in Dominaria, there's a lot of magic. There's a lot of magic. So even, most people recognize when a spell's being cast.
Okay, I'm gonna just not bother with that and just, you know, be nice. I'll be like, if I'm being completely honest with you, he's a traveling companion. He means no harm.
Ugh.
Well,
I've heard tales of cleaned up goblins. I thought I'd see one. At least it stopped shitting its pants.
He's very well educated. He's among one of the smartest of his kind. He's even a shipwright.
I don't want to stab this guy. I don't want to stab this guy.
I mean, there's nothing preventing you. I'm like...
Well, Kazran doesn't know that he's being racist.
Right.
Again,
he has a feeling.
The goblins around here are awful.
I'm wearing, like, a nice coat and a cool hat.
Yeah.
I'm, like, well dressed.
Oh, no,
I
no.
asked him,
He's assuming that you're just, like, a prettied up version of those. He is horribly racist.
Can I ask him, are the goblins of this region dangerous?
If you let them get out of hand. Most of them, though, got civilized. Learned to put on pants back in the war. Back in the day. Only a few of the outliers remain. Most of them got enslaved by the Ironclaws.
So they work together is what you're telling us.
Nowadays. You picked a bad time to come to the Ironclaw Mountains. He's gonna let go Wyntris and kind of like sheath two of his axes, like the axes back, you know, each one. You'll notice that he was using twin hand axes, and he's got a huge like great axe on his back. He'll kind of throw down his coat now, as if you see his like hair's mangled and tangled. He's got kinds of stuff in it.
He'll turn around, look at me like, what was he saying?
From here on in, I translate everything to the party as he says it, just for convenience.
Verbatim?
Yeah.
Okay.
Word is the Ironclaws found a way to break their curse. Been a threat in the region ever since. Fortunately, there aren't too many of them. But they might be planning something.
What's this curse you speak of?
Oh, the one that makes them not attack.
If it even seems like something would be more powerful than them, they cannot attack it.
Oh.
Like, it's like they can't fight battles which there is a chance of failure. Or chance of, failure. They can only go for battles that are surefire because of their curse.
I want to ask this guy, are you the last of the people around here alive?
Last one on the surface.
Does he want his axe back?
Let's offer that. Here, like, this is what we found. I'm assuming you want it back?
Sure. You'll see him, like, sheath it in something else then, too. Can't run out of them. Look. You seem nice and all. Much of my people have been driven underground. Hiding places. There are only a few ways in. You were trying to bark at one of them. Into the underground. The mine entrance is another one. But if you tried that way, you would have gotten a much less friendlier greeting.
I'm assuming...
Yeah, you're pretty friendly, to be honest. I like you.
I translate that.
Oh.
Good man. Bravo.
I'm in charge of making sure that I'm in charge of watching this place. Someday maybe I'll get relief.
So, for the time being, is there any way we can help deal with this whole civil war you guys are dealing with against the orcs?
It's less of a civil war and more of an actual, like, war.
Okay, war. My bad. Wrong terminology.
Yeah. There aren't many clans here. Gone into hiding. At most, you can spread the word that the Ironclaws are seemingly a threat. The tall legs. One's far in the west. I did some trade with them long ago, when I was a youngin'. At least my pa did. Back when I was still an apprentice. They might be willing to do something about this.
We'll be sure to see if we can talk to them. We're
He's talking about Benalia, since they're the major power on this continent.
Well, we'll do what we can. For all we know, these orcs might be hostile toward us too.
If they aren't, then you're a traitor to your own kind.
I'm technically I am. Is the other
I
thing.
don't translate that.
No, I think he'd be cool with that.
Would he?
He doesn't seem to like goblins.
Okay, I translate that.
His implication here is that if you are friendly with the Ironclaws, you've sided with them.
Yes.
They are ultra aggressive.
Okay.
Yeah.
They are murder hobos.
Yes. They're murder hobos who for like thousands of years have been cursed and seemingly have removed it now. You know? They probably really want to flex that murder hobo arm that they haven't been able to do for a couple thousand years.
Yeah. They're about to go murder hobo.
We'll try to take down some, if only so they don't hurt you and your kind. By the way, I didn't ask your name.
I didn't give it.
Fair. Well, I'll give mine
You
first.
didn't ask it.
I'll give mine first if it means any goodwill. My name's Maxwell, and this is Kazran, Wyntris, Carrion, Claude.
Your blade felt funny on my back.
I don't translate that.
Gold Rock.
It's nice to meet you, Goldrock.
Gold Rock. Suglud. I'll put his name
Is
in
that his
chat.
last name?
Yes. There it is.
Ah.
Gold Rock
I
Sug.
can't pronounce his last name.
Cool name. As apologies for the inconvenience upon trespassing, upon, your land. I know this isn't much, but I offer him 5 gold for that.
Oh my god,
Ain't my land. At most, you're trying to break into my land. I'm a gatekeeper. You haven't figured that out.
You mean the okay?
I assumed you were a guard of sorts. I mean, you look very powerful enough to be a knight. At least, from some of the regions I've been in. God, I hope he liked that. Does he take the money?
No, he doesn't take the money.
Oh. Well, I was trying to be polite.
Yeah.
You were saying that I fucked
I
up.
have no need.
He doesn't
Okay.
need. I understand it was a good move, but he doesn't need it.
Well, if you're gonna stay the night here, follow me. Ugh. Guests.
This is not what I expected.
Should
Well,
we get the rest of our
He's just gonna do and use a huge loogie on the ground down here,
Max, you might want to let me know we have friends.
So about that, we don't have any. I mean, do we want to spend the night?
I
Probably
would
not, right?
prefer. Well, I prefer to spend the night somewhere that has shelter and isn't the woods.
Yeah.
I don't want to inconvenience.
And it's not even the woods, it's like mountain pass. It's even worse. It's just like
It's rocky. It's rocky.
rocky ground,
Before we
scrub
consider-
trees,
Before we considered spending the night, Gold Rock, we were traveling with a few other friends, so you mind if
Ugh, fine. Ugh.
I don't want to inconvenience these poor dwarves. They've already had it tough. I don't want to
Yeah.
drain their resources.
Yeah, I feel like you guys shouldn't have to spend resources on outsiders. Like
They
I
are.
think
I'm providing for you, you idiots. You're not allowed into the mines, into the colony.
Okay.
No outsider is.
All we want is a roof over our head.
Aye.
Can you
Come
give
with
us
me.
a moment while? Can you give us a moment while we go talk to our?
Ugh, fine.
Why are you making this poor
Why-
man do
Why don't we
upset?
follow where he's going, and then we can go grab our friends?
Excellent.
So we're not holding him.
Okay, we'll do that then.
All right, he's gonna lead you kind of to one of the back cliff walls, and you'll see him kind of play around with the one part of the wall for a moment, and then kind of almost push in part of the wall and kind of slide it to the side.
Seems rather fancy.
Need to be when there's more of them scouts and scavengers coming around. Think they got all of us and got everything of value. Only way to keep out of their eyes, keep a watch on them. There's plenty of tricks to this town. When it comes to earthen magic, there are very few second to us, dwarfs. The rock speaks to us. He's gonna lead you into like a small kind of cavern area. Definitely not big enough for your cart or horse, but for all of you, you could probably stay. It seems to be some kind of encampment. He's got a bunch of like random items here that seem to probably be his like material possessions. He's got like a campfire set up. There seems to be like a ventilation, like so you can see like it's like a kind of cavern, almost like a natural cavern, and there's like a very tiny hole at the top, so it kind of like lets those smoke out. And it looks as though like maybe that cave door was what was sealed up, kind of, and that like secret thing was put in the place of it. He's got some kind of stew on, it looks like.
It's very, very quaint in here, all things considered.
There's a lot of like small animal hides, like up, you know, and stuff. That looks like he's drying the hides too for uses. Go get your friends. Close the door behind you.
Are we all going to get fetch our friends, or?
I'm gonna stay with Big Mean Dwarf that almost threatened to kill me.
I'm not. I'm not
Yeah.
staying with a racist dwarf who thought I was a slave.
Yeah, I think you're better off staying not with them. What
I
about the
mean, he
rest of
made
y'all?
assumptions based on information that he has. He's
Yeah, but
prob-
I'm like well dressed.
He's
I'm-
never met a goblin not from this region.
Aren't they different colors?
Yes, they are.
What color is Kazrain? I'm assuming he's green.
Green, yeah.
What were the other ones?
He probably notices that now, because remember the lights were around Wyntris, while Wyntris didn't say she was doing much to like help out clean the rocks. I assume she was standing back while you guys were cleaning
I
the rocks.
almost fell asleep during that part, to be honest. That's why I went, huh?
Yeah, that's why I assumed like
I never
Wyntris was kind of
volunteered
out of the
to
way.
cut the rock.
But remember, the
So-
lights were by there while everyone else with dark vision was clearing it out. He had dark vision on you guys. Black and white. He didn't know your
Yeah.
color.
Does Kazrain also have dark vision?
Granted,
Yeah,
he probably
Wow,
would
is
notice
that like
a lot
innate for
now.
goblins?
it's
Yeah.
a racial trait, yeah.
Oh, that's rad.
Claude
Okay.
can change it to something that has it, and Carrie gets it for being like all demony.
Yeah.
And I think you have it for being undead.
Once again, demon
Yeah,
blood is
I have it
superior.
for sure.
I mean, I'm not gonna say no to you and your demon blood.
I'm just blind as a bat.
Well, no, you're the only one who has normal vision here.
What are you gonna do with your cart and the horse? You can't really necessarily hide
Do they got a
them.
parking spot anywhere?
They don't really have an easy one. There's probably a bit of a stable connected to the inn, not much of one. Probably enough for the horse if you wanted to kind of put it there. The cart, you could try
think
to
we're
make
gonna
it
get
look like
mugged.
it's part of that.
Can we take whatever contents are in the cart with us?
You can.
It might be a good idea for some of us to like stay with the cart.
You could probably get the horse on its own into the cave. It's not going to be happy, but you could probably do it. It's a horse in a cave, you know?
We could be split. I think I should probably stay with the dwarf guy because I'm the only one who understands him.
He does only speak Dwarven.
Right. So I think I'm like forced to stay in that party.
Yeah.
If so, what about the rest of you guys?
I could sleep in the cart. If anyone
I'm not
tries to bother it, I'll hear them.
I'm not a personal fan of this dwarf. So I'll probably stick with the cart as well.
What about Carrion? What's she gonna do? You gonna hang with me, Linz, and the dwarf? Probably, because, you know, Wyntris is doing to Carrion, right?
After threatening Wyntris, Carrie is staying as close to Wyntris as possible.
Okay.
Fair.
Cool. So we have our party.
Radiant will stay with the cart, and the rest will go into the cave then. Nim is the only other one that apparently speaks Dwarven, and you'll quickly notice that.
Thank God.
I mean, you pretend to speak Dwarven. He has 2,000 years of learning languages.
Yeah.
Look, I learned recently, alright?
He knows a lot of languages. And certain regional dialects. Why don't we call it here? Because we didn't have our second break, and I've been a little off this last part here, so I can get some rest a little bit. We're only a little early then. We can do our outros and then get going a little early. But we'll end up with you guys staying with the dwarf and learning about a change in the Ironclaws. Is it for the good? Is it for bad? You don't know. You'll have to find out.
I wouldn't be good.
I mean, like, maybe after they establish their own dominance over the Ironclaw Mountains, rather than, you know, be aggressive, like, necessarily, they could establish some form of empire which could evolve into a civilization that rivals some of the others in the local area, rather than become a deadly raiding group that eventually results in wars across the region.
Or they could, I was gonna say, or they could just try to take over everyone.
I mean, they could roam it.
Yeah, they could do a Rome. Or England.
Yeah. You don't know, they might.
They might do in England.
You're not quite sure yet. You know that they seem to be aggressively taking control of the mountain region.
Never trust an orc in the dark.
Probably not.
Depends on the orc.
But anyway, we'll worry about that next time. Let's go around, have people give shout-outs to where people can find them, etc., etc. And when we continue next time, you can finish up with your little dwarven friend here and maybe continue on your way to Wyntris' village. With the hopes of finding your way there finally and meeting with Wyntris' family. Though until then... yes. Effectively, what you don't know about is that there are a pair of powerful earth elementals that were guarding the mine entrance.
Oh, fuck.
Is that how we got noticed?
No.
No,
We
if we
would've
had done
died.
shit, it would have killed us.
That's what would have happened.
Yeah.
What is an elemental?
It's a pile of living rock
Oh.
in vague humanoid form.
And you go smash with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think of oh god, Galaxy Quest.
I don't know. So I don't know what that is. So just a
okay.
golem then. Gotcha.
It's like a golem, except it's not like it's not made the same way of magic. It's more like
It's a creature that's made of the earth. That's
Yeah.
what an earth elemental is.
it's like natural magics create it, and it just seems as though because the dwarfs have rock magic, basically is what he's saying. They you know,
It's like Talus in Breath of the Wild.
Like,
I see. Okay.
the
That's good
core
then.
also have rock magic, but rather than like they do it a lot differently. Like the dwarves, they mine, they like, you know, create things out of earth. Core like to make weapons out of rock.
Hang
And-
will eventually teach me how to magic.
How to lithomancy? Yeah, lithomancy is very different. Anyway, it's its own unique thing. But regardless, let's give our outros, and we'll worry about what's going on with these dwarves and orcs next time a little bit. Let's start with Mads, because we'll do our reverse count wheel, as we always try to do.
Hi, believe it or not, I am here. My internet doesn't want me to be, but I am here.
Yeah.
And work has been kicking my ass, but hopefully next Wednesday we'll be back with From Beyond the Rifts on Bubbly Moth's channel. But that might not be true because work's been kicking my ass.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, to be at Russia, ass kicks your work.
Yes, and then we'll go to Fish. Wow.
Hi, I'm Fish. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/FishHarlan16. Maybe I'll actually stream again if school will like lighten up a tad. You can also find me out back of your local Five Guys trying to become the mythical 6th guy.
Ooh, the quest continues.
I thought you wanted to become Peanut Man.
No. I like their peanuts, but it's not mythical.
Mr. Peanut?
No, fuck that.
And then we have Lee.
He's reborn now, I heard.
Yeah, I fucking hate it. It's so dumb. I can't get into this.
This is yes, Mr. Peanut Man Reborn. Before we let you do it, go ahead, Lee.
Okay, hey guys, I'm just Lee Belmont, your noble vampire hunter. I also stream on Twitch. And for this month, I'm doing a special thing called Sellout Timber, where I wear these really stupid sunglasses and try to parody all the Twitch streamers who keep having all these absurd sub goals for this month. So, yeah.
September's dumb this year. It's dumb. It's
yeah,
not
it really
worth
sucks. It's not, because it's just like 20% off for like several months that are reoccurring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like a year or two before, it was like half off on gift subs, right?
Last year was half off gift subs, and the year before it was just half off in gift subs.
Dude, they really fucked up this year on that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
then we'll go to Joe.
Hey, I'm Joe. You'll find me here on Tansis' channel. I will be on Saturday for discussing tabletop. Sunday for my game that I run on this channel, which is Grinding Gears. We'll see what kind of mischief they get into on the giant gear ship of the God Fedora.
And finally, Lindsay.
See, I'm Lindsay, but sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm that lamp right behind you. I'm either one of the two lamps behind Joe. You never know which one. Or I'm that poster that watches fish.
is that why you're changing color right now?
There's a lot of eyes on that poster, I'll give you that. There's like a weird amount of eyes.
One of them's me. And one day you won't ever wake up because I will have emerged.
That's creepy. Great.
If you're in that poster, you got other things to worry about.
Like
Anyway.
being the Peanut Man, 6th man.
Huh?
Yeah.
As for myself, Tantis Nara Van Dracovin, you can find me here very often. I never decided if I was going to do anything for September or not, because it's like, I'm never doing anything special for it. Anyway, I don't know. I should. Maybe I'll do something for October. But if you're looking for more RPG streams like this one, I do a bunch of those throughout the week. Now, Joe mentioned Grinding Gears, which is Sunday, which is on this channel, but run by him, where I'm a player. But we also have... Did you mention Discussing Tabletop?
Yes.
Okay, and Discussing Tabletop, my brain farted there for a second. But also, next Tuesday at 10 a.m. EST, we will have Records of Evil, a lawful evil D&D game set in a modern-day version of Faerun that's in the Forgotten Realms. Then also on that day at 2 p.m., later on that afternoon, is Legacies of Kain, a Vampire the Masquerade game, where they have reached Korea. And they're making Korean friends now. But since it's in modern-day setting, it's taking place in March. And everybody knows what was going on in March. So things are very locked down in Korea in March. And they're trying to do sneaky stuff. Good luck, vampires. Good luck. And then, of course, this show here this week at every week, 8 p.m. EST. Hopefully you can join us next week. Where they'll try to make more of a dwarven friend who he doesn't look like he's had a very good time in his life. I'm just going to say that there. You know, it doesn't excuse him being a dick, but, you know, you can at least understand why he's a dick.
No, it does. It does excuse him, you know?
I don't think, like, you know, murder of a lot of your people, like, you know, generally speaking, by one group that may have enslaved another group is a reason to hate the other group that was enslaved. And used probably as cannon fodder.
What the fuck?
Again, like it's probably
No,
it is a
being, like being all murdery happy, you know?
I doubt he's ever seen He's probably never seen a goblin with a cool hat like Kazran's.
Oh no, he has never seen a goblin. And probably like he's probably like questioning why you're like an oddly colored goblin now. You know, like you're like, that's a weird looking goblin. Dark vision doesn't telling me anything about that.
I can't wait to one day actually play as the Dwarf Moon Knight.
But anyway.
It's been so long making that guy.
Regardless though, we'll hopefully be here next week, same time, same place. Everybody out there, stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane. Have a good rest of your Thursday. A good rest of your week if you can't join me for anything else. At very least, you can see me tomorrow doing the Forest with Lightning Worm and a bunch of Blaze, Rachel, and stuff at 8 p.m. I can't forget about that because it's the only like gaming stream I actually stream right now. So I should probably shout that out. But anyway, there's that. But anyway, bye everyone. Farewell. Have a good one. Brain farting. I'm dying.
Boy.